and welcome to the Enchantress Society with Tia Johnson, a place where you get to be you, where you get to unlock your magic in a sacred and judgment-free zone. The Enchantress Society is your witchy sisterhood of enchanting women who guides and supports you along your spiritual journey from the mundane to the magical. I invite you to sit for a spell as I interview guests and spill the spiritual tea on how we can create the magical life we deserve. Hello, Enchantress, and welcome back. Now, I have to take a little pause here because we are at the midpoint of the year. And when I first started seeing those posts, I thought to myself initially, how about we just enjoy the rest of spring and the summer season before we start to do the X amount of months until 2023? We're going to get into a few things with that. Because I could go down the rabbit hole right now. So before all that happens, if we are not connected on Instagram, let's remedy this situation. I love using the Insta stories to connect with you more, to get the mini trainings, to just get more insight. And, more connection is fun. So my main page is cosmic_witch_goddess. And the podcast page is Enchantress_society_podcast. And the links to those are in the description of this episode. And that's how we can stay connected. And so, getting back to the mid-year mark, I'm all about living life as much as we can and having experiences, just really getting to know ourselves, the people around us, evaluating things, reflecting, yes, living in the moment. And while it is important to plan for the future, to keep that in mind, yes, we are roughly 6 months away from the new year. And it doesn't feel like it's been that long since we ushered in 2022. And this is why I wanted to make this episode let's take a moment. Let's have a seat. Let's relax. Let's have our drinks. If you want to have your spritzer or a seltzer. I'm like, where did that come from? Spritzer. Your seltzer. You want to have your cup of coffee. Let's slow down a moment. This year, thus far, we experienced 2 eclipses. Of course, multiple full moon, new moon. All the planets were indirect for multiple months. We're just getting off of Mercury retrograde, a little bit of the shadow period, but that's okay. I think Pluto, I forget which other planet is in retrograde now besides Saturn. Okay. And I want to use this time to focus on how far we've come, but also remember that. It's easy to look back and oh, yeah. I've come a long way. And I pulled some oracle cards too. So this is also a mini reading. So stay tuned. All right. And I want us to, I almost don't want to do this, but it's needed. After all, we got to do this. Think back to 2020. I know it's let's not do this. But think about 2020, 2021, and now 2022. You are not the same person since 2020. I thought about this because around this time in 2020, I took a break from the podcast. It was roughly 2 months. I didn't know it was going to be a 2-month break, but it was a lot going on. Okay. A lot. And people had to deal with a lot of shit. I remember having multiple, and I was hesitant to say conversation because it ended up being more of a defense that I had to put up, because I start in going with the conversation, and then I realize, oh, this person is just on a path of, no, this is my point, this is my stance. I'm not here to have any conversation. I don't want to hear anyone's perspective. This is the truth. And it's like, it's not. In fact, it's rooted in prejudice. Like, I'm trying to, you brought up something, and I am presenting a conversation and insight to say, well, that's a very narrow-minded perspective, and here's what's actually the case. And so it was a reminder of who I can and cannot have conversations with. But also it was a breakthrough year for me in a lot of ways. So it was a lot of shadow work that was done. But also I needed a lot of time. It was just so much going on. And 2021 was when so much change happened. And I want to emphasize on this change, because I really want you to think back about, especially, where were you right now in 2021? I was a few months into living in my new condo. I was getting prepared for, I think it was I don't think it was the Unlock Your Magic Summit. It might have been the Sex Goddess Summit next. And I was really stepping outside of my comfort zone, my boundaries, and learning so much more about myself. And little did I know, I was on the path of unlocking my dark feminine energy. Now we're in 2022, and I'm all about it. I'm like, let's go. What's next? What's the new adventure? And this is what I mean about let's take a moment. We need to remember and understand even the small steps that got us to where we are. Because when we dive into our spirituality, we pull oracle cards, we ask people for guidance. Sometimes we get caught up in expecting that message, that opportunity to look a certain way, sound a certain way, walk a certain way, present itself a certain way. We don't realize it. And then we think that opportunity didn't show up. We think that whatever was supposed to happen didn't happen. This is a reason why collective readings are so good, because we are tapped into different collectives. And when someone gives a collective reading, we get an overarching theme. We get some insights. And from there, we can take a personal reading, compare and contrast, start putting the pieces together, because we do operate on a collective front and a personal front. This is one of the reasons why we have those cultural memes of, things we do for Easter or Christmas, whatever, or even 90s babies, 80s babies, right? We have certain collective things. So taking a moment to really dive into who you have become is crucial, because as time goes on, sometimes with some people, there tends to be time has passed. Let me lower my boundaries a little bit. Let me give this person another chance. No, this is not the time to let up. This is the time to keep our foot on the pedal. Keep going. Keep going. Because you have to continue to honor yourself and then up the ante. So if your boundaries were at level 10, now it's time to increase it to level 20. Because with each, not even year, with each few months, we're constantly leveling up. Our bodies change. If you were to Google how often does the body change and shed skin and things like that, there's different metrics. Some are I'm making it up, but like every 6 months, every 9 months, something like that. Our bodies alone are changing, shedding skin, things like that. So of course you are. You can have a notebook, type it on your computer. In 2020, I felt like this. 2020 impacted me this way. 2021 was the year that I changed. I did this. And 2022 was when I arrived. So yes, you can start to map out the beginning of 2023. Someone even posted on Instagram that they were booked to February 2023. I'm just like, what? Crazy. But that's a great thing. So let's get to these Oracle cards and then we're going to circle back. So I pulled 3 cards here, and this is from the Wisdom of Avalon Oracle card deck. The Horse was the first card that popped up. Accepting help from another, delegating authority. The next is the Stag, pride and leadership. And before I get to the third card, I want to focus on these 2 cards. These 2 cards, the Horse and the Stag, very strong, regal, 4-legged animals. And I was drawn to emphasize the 4 legs, foundations, right? The number 4 has to do with foundations, strength. And so this is a time to really buckle down on taking a firm leadership role in your life and other areas in your life. Don't get so caught up in where you want to be. And trust me, I get it, because I had my moments too, like, oh man, I've been jumping realities. I'm like, okay, let's go, let's go, let's go. It's easy to get caught up in that. So I want you to right now focus on being more of a leader, bringing yourself back when you feel yourself deviating from the plan, you're shifting. Even the other day I had purchased, it was some junk food. I was like, oh, I have this as a little snack. And then, I'm sorry, it wasn't junk food. It was little chocolates. But I had to remember that it wasn't real chocolate, and it made my stomach bloated instantly. And I just said to myself, you know what? I'm just going to throw the rest of this bag in trash. The old me would have been like, Tia, you purchased this bag. And it wasn't expensive, but it would be, don't waste it. Just eat a little bit. But no, why would I want to eat a little bit of something if it makes me bloated instantaneously, right? So I just threw it away. I threw it away. And I'm proud of myself, because also I avoided a couple of extra pounds. But this is also Saturn retrograde season. So with that, there are some things that are going to pop up from the past where you get a second chance to correct it, to review it. With this, I was able to be more of a leader to say, no, we're going to stop right here, right now. We're not going to see this to the end. We already know the outcome. It's not beneficial. Just because we're on this path doesn't mean we have to continue it. It's like when you are, a large scale version of this would be if you're in a relationship, it's not going anywhere. You're not being respected as much as you should, right? Like you should be respected all the time. But some people, they look at like, oh, well, they make excuses, things like that. You're going to have to call it. It's not easy. Of course, it's not easy. However, that with that relationship, you are going to be more mentally strained. Communication is at a discourse. So, and the list goes on. You have to make this call. Sometimes the other person, while they should make the call as well, they're not going to do that because maybe they're comfortable. Maybe they're getting something out of it with little, I was going to say input, but with little effort. So why would they ruin that? They're getting something out of it, but you are suffering more. So it's like that. You can stop it right then and there. You don't have to wait another year. You don't have to wait to see anything to see what. All right. So with this horse, accepting help from another, you can be a leader and still receive help. The best leaders have a council. I talk about this in my masterminds, that spiritual counsel, that, counsel where you have an advisor, someone who wants you to succeed no matter what. This is about understanding who you can go to for help. Okay. Especially as you get older, people by this point. Nothing should be a surprise after a certain period of time. Now, yes, there will be these little things, sure, where you hear stories of people who've been betrayed by someone they've known for 15 years. That does happen, yes. Sometimes we ignore certain flags. Other times, yeah, it is coming from left field. Overall, start understanding the people in your lives. Stop giving people multiple chances. I use the reference with games. 3 strikes, you're out. You don't get umpteen chances to get it right. No. This game lasts for an hour. Okay? Think about that in regards to your life. I'm here for a finite time, and I'm not going to use my time and waste it on you. Waste it on a situation. Waste it on people who really don't want you to succeed. Why would you invest in that friendship, that relationship? No. So start paying attention to the people in your life, in your life. Let's take a moment. Take a moment. Think about it. And then ask for help. Ask for a reference. I'm not saying that you have to talk to someone about something that's extremely personal to you and you're not comfortable with talking to that person. Then go to a professional. Okay, this isn't about forcing you to talk to someone who you're just thinking, I don't want them to know that part of me. No, go to a professional. But it's about seeking the help when you need it. You will go further when you receive help from the right people, and to delegate what needs to be delegated. When people say work smarter, not harder, that does not mean that you can avoid hard work. What it means is delegate what you can delegate, streamline what you can streamline, and then you can get to work. Because if you're trying to do everything, you're going to get burnt out. You can get creative. Some people still use the barter system. When I first started, I was able to barter with people who were starting out and just a little bit further along than I was. You do social media. I create web pages. I also used to create websites, which was, oh my gosh, a lot of work. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can design something for you, make recommendations. I have a network. I can connect you with someone. You can help me with this. Fine. Nothing wrong with that. Get resourceful and delegate. No more of this martyr complex. No more, I can do it all. Yeah, you can do it all right into the ground and be burnt out. Okay. And don't let anyone guilt trip you for it either. If you budget for a home delivery service or a cleaning service or a babysitter and someone's telling you, oh, well, you can watch your kids and you can, like, yes, you can. And you can do that and you can do that and you can do that. But ask yourself, the person who's making all these recommendations, do you want to live their life? I'm not saying that you should want to live someone else's life. What I'm saying is, are they inspiring you to live a life that is somewhat like their life? Are they happy? Are they healthy? Is their skin glowing? Okay. I used to tease my mom because one of her, when she was younger, she went to a cooking school. And So, they don't use gloves or anything like that when it came to certain things, and her hands would be hard. So I said, this is years and years and years later. And I've been out of cooking school for decades. And I said, Mom, won't you put on some yellow gloves? And she goes, no, 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 I can't do that. And the conversation came about because I didn't want to wash dishes because I was thinking, well, my hands are going to get rough. I love my soft hands, my nicely manicured hands. And she was just saying, you could get in there with the Brillo. I'm thinking, I don't want to. I don't want to. And I made that suggestion to her because she was saying how her hands were just rough and, just typical rough hand issues. And, it's the difference in the lifestyle, the world. I don't want to wash dishes in that way, right? So some old school people would say, oh, well, in my day, we just hand wash everything. That's fine. And that's okay. I don't want to do that. I like my hands to be soft. So I have a brush that I use to clean my dishes. I don't do it by hand, or I'll put them in the dishwasher. Okay. So nothing wrong with it. Two different lifestyles, but that's not, and again, that's just a minor example, but I don't want to do that because I don't want that result. So if someone is making you feel guilty for your decisions, ask yourself, is that something that I want? If they're looking tired, depleted, all that, but they have everything done in their home, ask yourself, do I want to have everything done at my expense, my energy that I had to spend X amount of days, sometimes a week, to get realigned? Or can I budget? Can I barter with someone who can help me out? And then I can retain most of my energy, my creativity and all that jazz. So I can do other things and flourish. And my friends, my children can see me be this great leader who delegates, who does things, and I could be an inspiration and so forth. Okay. So really think about that. What the Stag, Pride, and Leadership are the messages below there. And it's interesting that it's with the horse card. Now, of course, we can be prideful. We can be, have a little bit of the ego. I can do this, I'm such a great leader. And of course, this isn't knocking you. However, we're taking a moment here. We are reflecting. We are evaluating. We are regrouping. How are your daily practices going? And it's okay if you're going through a time where you don't feel like meditating, and meditating comes in different forms. It's okay if you are doing things differently for a couple of weeks. You got to follow that nudge, because if you start to force yourself to do things, it's not going to work. So being a leader is also about being able to zoom out, take it all in for what it is. No sugarcoating, no, oh, well, no. What exactly is going on right now? What needs to be changed? What needs to be left behind? What needs to be paused? And what do you need? Great leaders have a team. They really do. They have a team. And it's so interesting. I was having a conversation with someone during lunch last week where we talked about successful people and what it takes, but also how in schools, they don't teach the things that are needed to become those wildly successful people, such as and not all schools, of course, some schools are doing it, such as meditation, right? A lot of people who are crazy successful, they meditate. Sometimes they spend time by themselves. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Why isn't that being taught? It's not a secret right? It's just a matter of a learning process, building blocks, right? When you are in primary school, you learn your ABCs, your one, two, threes, you work your way up, multiplication, division, you work your way up, algebra, you just work your way up. And the more you learn, the more you can put everything together like pieces of a puzzle. So if that's the case, where it's okay, people who are crazy successful, they do things like meditate, they drink a certain type of water, they run, they stretch, they do whatever it takes, right? Why not implement portions of that right now? That's some of the ways you can shift your reality. You don't have to go to a resort that's for the mega wealthy, but you can get a yoga mat. And hell, you could do yoga naked. You don't even have to have fancy clothes, right? You can budget for water that has certain things in it that help you. You can put cucumbers in your water. You can have your own slice of that. It's not about doing something exactly as someone else. It's about wherever you're at right now, how can you bring that into your world? And understanding that great leaders have a team. They have people who help them get there, whether it's the council, people, their advisors, people who help them, which can include their physical trainer, a reader, astrologer, whatever the case may be, someone who can help them with their food. For you, it could be, hey, I'm going to YouTube and I follow this person and make food recommendations and I do that. That's the person who's going to help you. They're on your council. They're part of your team. So don't let people guilt trip you, try to make you feel better, anything for what you are doing to help you get to where you want to be in life. This is what taking this moment is about. And that's the thing that just always just makes me go, we praise people who, well, some people don't like that, but we admire people who make it. And we learn that they are disciplined. We learn that they eat a certain way. We learn that they exercise. We learn that they work on their minds. All these things. Yet, when we're not at that place and we're working on getting there, people want to treat certain people as if they're doing too much. But it's like, well, wait a minute. Your favorite celeb is doing this, but at their level, at a higher level, because they have more resources. So why can't you? So ask yourself, why not me? Why not? The final card here is the fire fairy, which, of course, right? Of course, that fire energy is going to show up. I'm surprised it wasn't the earth fairy because there's a lot of earth energy with the horse and the stag. But actually, I'm getting a stag. Stag is more of an air energy. Anyway, creative action and optimism. Being grounded is great. And the foundational portion is very important, hence the stag and the horse. But don't forget that creativity uplifts. Creativity is outside the box. So as you're building these and reinforcing your strong foundations, and with foundation, I'm thinking 4 walls, 4 corners, things like that, make sure that you have space for the mystery, the unknown. Things can show up in so many different ways in your life. So as you're taking this moment, get creative. Maybe try a new class at the gym. Maybe go for a walk in, a different area. Maybe go back to painting. Maybe do more sex magic. Okay? Do these different things to get you out of the funk, like just shake things up a little bit, be a little bit of a disruptor. Okay. And use the fire energy because fire is a transformative energy. You boil, so you boil water, right? You use that fire energy and then whatever you cook is not the same and it can't go back to what it was. So use this time to be transformative and not go back. It's like when I was in Ghana, I had to remember the name of the president who said it. And it was on, it was like words under, I think it was underneath his statue or the guy told us. But anyway, I wrote about it on my blog, and it's forwards ever, backwards never. I'm going to get that tattooed one day. Forwards ever, backwards never. Never go backwards, ever. Don't give someone access who you revoked. If you revoke their access, they can't get that back. Okay? Really think about that for a moment. If you are ready to leave, go. Plan it, be strategic, and don't look back. You already know how that's going to end. So use this fire energy to propel you. Connect with the fire fairy, connect with the element of fire, and just ask questions. Light a candle, focus on the flame, and just ask. And just wait and feel, receive, see if you get a vision, if you hear anything, things like that, because the more you dive into this, the more you will see the small things that are actually magical. I can't begin to tell you, for example, how many sevens I've been seeing in the most random places when I'm not thinking about spirituality. I'm just chilling with my friends. We're out at a restaurant. We're talking. I'm laughing because we're talking about dating and things like that. And then at random, the TV would be on and the number 77 would pop up. And then someone will just, it would just get crazy. Long story short, before I go down that rabbit hole, it gets crazy. So no one else notices it, but I do. Right? It's just too many sevens, too many times for me not to notice it. Okay? So start noticing these things and just take a quick little check. Like, oh, okay, I get it. I get it. I get it. So going back, let's take a moment. At the time of this recording, it is the full moon in Sagittarius. Okay? And I'm already feeling that. Focus on the person who you want to become and retroactively bring that into your life. This is the moment. There are so many great energies swirling about. And I keep getting this vision of, so especially you're a gamer, you would get this when you're playing a video game and it's like a video game that's like a racing game. And you have this path where you can speed up. It's like the arrows that go forward and you go over. It's like, okay, this will propel you to go forward. It's like that. This is a time that you will be propelled. You just got to take advantage of that opportunity when it presents itself. Be open. So when I say retroactively becoming that person who you want to be, it involves understanding that you are that person, right? Even if you're just like, Tia, what the hell? Yes, you had to first and foremost believe it, because you are pulling this out from the ethers, so to speak. You're bringing it in. It's a thought process. You're bringing it in. It's the vision. And then you're going to change the way you speak. So, for example, I have a food delivery service that I use. So I say, I am so grateful for my private chef. And I know the chef isn't my private chef. The chef is for, a bunch of people, whoever orders it, but that's okay. My mind doesn't know the difference. Now, my imagination is what's at play here. I say, I am so thankful for my private chef. I am thankful for my personal assistant for delivering this to me. I am so grateful. When I'm in my Uber, I am so grateful for my private driver taking me safely to and from my destination, because I am consistently growing my business. And I'm going to get to that point where I will have a private chef in my mansion and a personal assistant and a personal driver. So I'm utilizing what I have right now, just in a way, just retroactively saying, yeah, my private driver, even when I used to catch public transportation, I used to joke with my friends when we would go out to lunch and they had cars. I would say I would ask my chauffeur, but he doesn't arrive on time. So, okay. So now there's Uber, and I just say, I'm thankful for my private driver. Things like that. Start adding that magical piece to your life. Okay. Changing the way you speak. You don't even have to say it out loud. You can just say it to yourself. You can say, hey guys, I'm going to request Uber. And then as you're requesting, thank you. Thank you, my personal driver. Thank you, John. He's great. He's a great driver. Okay. Really spend time to have these moments with yourself. And be prepared for the change. I think back to when I used to visualize being where I'm at. Of course, there's what you visualize, and then so much more that spirit brings in your life. But for the most part, I used to visualize this. And we had to take these moments to look back and give ourselves a pat on the back, I can't talk, a pat on the back. These brackets, oh my goodness. Oh, for those of you who are new to the show, I have brackets on my teeth and sometimes they slur my speech. So give yourself a pat on the back, not a pat. All right. And congratulate yourself. Celebrate yourself more. Have these moments. You could do it once a quarter, every 3 months. Look at the changes within. And be aware when some things start to creep back up. I also caught myself, I almost emotionally ate the other day. Someone irked me. It's just, I ended up spending too many hours and I have a time block with some people. You get 3 hours, and that's it. And it was something that I ended up spending more time than I wanted to. And that was out of my control. And I was over it. It was sensory overload. I was just over it. And I caught myself. I did not go out and buy any comfort food. And that's what I mean is start noticing these things. Don't be so reactive. Wait a little while. Ask yourself, do I really want this, or is it because of a situation? I have to process the situation first mentally. This is why I work so hard on my mind, exercising my mind. Process it mentally first. Don't go to food. Don't go to whatever you typically go to when someone like just, okay? Process it first. Be that leader. Step in and like, hey, we're not doing that. That's the old us. We're not doing that. We are not doing that now. Go get some fresh air. Go watch something. Have a timeout. But don't do what you normally would do. And I just felt those emotions leaving my body. Like, okay. Because I've come too far and you've come too far to revert back any way, shape, or form. No, we're not letting that happen. This is why when we get to a certain point, we got to raise our boundaries, reinforce them, check ourselves. And I get it now so much when people get to a certain level and they just are like, nope, not dealing with that. Not dealing with it, not because they can't afford it. Spiritually, physically, mentally, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. People will bring you down. And it's crazy because you can't bring certain people up no matter how hard you try, but people can bring you down. So you have to be extremely careful with that. All right. So that's what I have for you. Take a moment. Yes, we're at the midway point of the year. Celebrate this time. Use this fire energy of the summer to fuel you, to get you going. This is Gemini season. I love my Geminis. Shout out to all Geminis. My rising signs of Gemini. Geminis are so misunderstood. Yes, there are some crazy Geminis, but there are crazy people in every zodiac, right? We can't just look at people's sun sign and go, oh, because I'm here to tell you, a September male Virgo, toxic. Not all. I love joking about that because I've seen a lot of memes about it. And well, they didn't specifically state September male Virgo, but they said male Virgo. I'm just like, But also some people like to come for Scorpios. And I'm just like, but have you met a September male Virgo? I'm just saying. I crack myself up. So shout out to my Geminis. Geminis are amazing. Okay. People are just mad that they're not as versatile. Okay. So anyway, what I'm getting at is use the energy of Gemini season to help you with communicating this to yourself and others. And this meaning, hey, this is the new me. This is the new me. And to yourself, I'm not going backwards. I'm taking in these moments to reflect and congratulate myself how far I've come. Have more conversations with yourself. The planet that rules Gemini is Mercury. And Mercury is all about, well, not all about, but a huge portion of Mercury has to do with communication. Hence why when there's Mercury retrograde, people have issues with communication and forms of communication. So use this time to really buckle down on how you communicate with yourself, which is why I started off with the let's reflect and talk about where you were in 2020, 2021, and now. Really start to understand how you got through a lot of shit. Okay? Because now you have more experience, more grit. I love people with grit. All right? Just how are we going to get this done? Okay? Cancer season is right around the corner. Then my Leos. All right? And then, it's Virgo season. So, Virgos, we get crazy when it's our season. So anyway, I'm sending you lots of love, lots of amazing, magical blessings. I am rooting for you as always. Remember to be kind to yourself and please take these moments to reflect. Take these moments to treasure who you are. Take these moments to congratulate yourself for how far you have come. And don't let anyone take that from you. They don't have to know your whole story, but they don't have the right to take anything from you. Okay? I got you back. I'm there with you in spirit. Until next time. Love you. Thank you so much for tuning in, Magical One. Let's keep in touch. Join the VIP email list by going to tiamariejohnson.com. And as always, I'm sending you lots of love, many blessings. I'm rooting for you. And remember to be kind to yourself. Until next time.